Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam Prabhuji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj Prabhuji.
Danvat Pranam Mata Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanyavad Pranam, all glories to Prabhupada.
Danvat Pranam Yashodharani Mata Ji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanyavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada Prabhuji.
Danvat Pranam Nandulal Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Danvat Pranam Nidya Mata Ji, Hare Krishna. Okay, we can begin now. Let me share. How is Isopanishad going on so far? Is it very complex? Difficult to understand? Easy?
Yes, Prabhuji, it is understanding.
Yes. Very interesting, but with nectar.
Very
Nectar,
interesting, yeah.
as always.
Om Agyanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So today we are reading from Shri Isopanishad. We will be discussing verse number 8 onwards. We will see based on time if we can cover 2 or 3 verses. Okay. So the 8th one is God's eternal qualities. We were discussing in the previous one. 7th verse was mainly upon oneness and desire. And otherwise, oneness is not possible. We are eternally separate from the Lord, and we are eternally meant to serve the Lord. That is our position. The oneness can only be possible in oneness and desire. When Krishna's desire becomes our desire, and when there is no separate desire from Krishna, but only Krishna desires our desire, that is pure devotional service. That is true oneness. So that was the sum and substance and the theme of verse number 7. Now, Sapariyagat, such a qualified person. And who is that qualified person? One who has, one whose desire is Krishna's desire. Such a quality, or one who renders pure devotional service. Pure devotional service we also saw last week. The beginning of pure devotional service, Rupa goes free from any kind of karma. And today we will also discuss about the um, um, we will reject Gyan and Karma today also, um, but no separate desire. That is a qualified person. Such a qualified person, as described in the previous two mantras, factually knows and attains the Lord, and that person can attain Krishna. And Krishna is described as Sukram, means omnipotent. Omnipotent, Prabhupada describes as can do any activity with any limb of his divine body. So the Lord is omnipotent. Then Akayam. Akayam means kaya means body. Akayam means without material body. Or without material body means his body and soul are not different. His soul is his body, or his body is Satchitananda. Then Avaranam means without injury or without faults. There is no fault in the Lord. Today Malti Prabhu was describing how there was no fault in Srila Prabhupada's every activity. Shyam Sundar Prabhu, he was a secretary for Srila Prabhupada for 2 years. And Shyam Sundar Prabhu was curious, like how can somebody has absolutely no fault? How can there be somebody who makes no mistakes? And then in 2 years also, he could not find one fault in Srila Prabhupada. And Krishna is also described as without faults. Then Ashnaviram, without veins. So material body has veins, but the spiritual body does not have veins. Even it is described in our scripture that Brahma body is made of intelligence. Intelligence is a subtle organ. We cannot see intelligence. So when Brahma comes, we cannot see him because his body made of intelligence. We cannot see ether, then mind, then intelligence, then false ego, then the soul. They're all subtler and subtler. We cannot see them. So only our bodies have these veins, but Krishna's bodies are snaviram, without veins. Then Shuddham means pure, with no trace of impurities in Krishna. Apap vidham, there is no sin or piety that can touch him, uncontaminated by sin or piety. Kavir, he is omniscient, means he knows everything. Then Manishi means intelligent. Paribuhu, the greatest and controller of all. We will discuss some of them in more detail also. Paribuhu means the greatest and controller of all. He is the greatest. There is nobody greater than him. And he is the cause of all causes. He is not controlled by anyone, but yet he is controlled by love. Then Swayambhur is self-sufficient or independent. Not only is he self-sufficient and independent, we saw in the first verse, anything that comes from him is also complete, independent and self-sufficient. Yatha tat yato ritham vedadhach chashvati bhyasama bhaya. He has been fulfilling everyone's desire since time immemorial. Whether we are devotees or whether we are not devotees, if we have a particular desire and if our karma allows, then the Lord is the one who is sanctioning our desires since time immemorial. The Paramatma is the supreme eternal because he is the shelter of all other eternal entities. We are eternal, he is eternal, but he is a supreme eternal because he is the shelter of all the eternals. He gives shelter to all the eternals. He is fulfilling the desires of all the eternals. So we are also eternal, he is also eternal, but he is a supreme eternal. Okay. All right. He is a person with a beautiful form. He is unembodied, akayam, and without weights, ashna viram. Unembodied means like we hear Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada describes when the embodied soul. Embodied means one who has a body. Unembodied means one who does not have a body. Um, for whom soul is the body, or who is Sachidananda, who is completely transcendental. He does not have a material body. So that's why he's described as unembodied, and without veins. Um, Sometime it is seen that um, Dev, then there was blood in his body when Bhishma Dev shot arrows and the arrows pierced the body of Krishna. There was blood. Blood, how can there be blood unless there are veins? The blood flows in the veins. So how can there be blood? That is the illusory energy of Krishna. There is no blood that flows in Krishna's body. Um, Krishna's body is spiritual. But then there are many atheists who don't have any faith in Krishna. So Krishna does not want to disturb anybody's faith. Like ego wants, if we have something that others don't have, then the false ego wants to prove oneself. Like Srila Prabhupada says, the definition of humility. Prabhupada says not to be anxious to gain respect for oneself. Prabhupada says humility. Not anxious to get respect from others. And because that is actually false ego. False ego or false pride. That if there is any good quality in me, then naturally how a conditioned soul thinks. If there is any good quality in me, then I want to get some profit from that. I want to show to others any good in me. I want to show off. Um, yeah, we're talking about Bhishma, Krishna and Bhishma. Krishna is the Supreme Lord, but he does not want to show off. This is naturally humility. So rather, if somebody thinks of Krishna like he is just a normal being like us, then Krishna showed to them how he is a normal being like them. This is actually Krishna's greatness. That um, um, other places we see during Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, we see Putana. Krishna killed Putana, and then when Mother Yashoda came running with all the other gopis, some of the gopis, they climbed this mountain-like body of Putana, and then they saw Krishna was crawling on the breast of Putana. So they went, it was like a mountain. So they went, they picked up uh, our little Nandalal. They picked him up, they brought him, and then uh, Mother Yashoda started feeding Krishna um, breast milk. And Krishna started sucking, and Krishna became happy. And there is no pride in Krishna that, see, I just killed Putana. Krishna is acting as if, oh, see, what a scary thing that was. And same thing Krishna does, he killed Trinavarta and whatever he does. Then, like one of the quality of a pure devotee also, he is unassuming. Unassuming means he doesn't try to show. And we see that whatever quality pure devotees have, that is in minute amount, and the same quality Krishna has in full amount. All the qualities infinite, absolute. Um, so that's why when Bhishmadev is shooting arrow, then Krishna, the whole illusory energy works under Krishna's direction. And that's how Krishna got some blood there. And, everyone was like, oh, Krishna is bleeding. But Krishna's body does not have any veins. And Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, don't disturb the mind of people who are attached, or don't even disturb the mind of atheist. So Krishna does not do anything to disturb somebody else's mind. Those who have faith in Krishna and surrender to Krishna, Krishna will accept them and take them to his abode. But others, Krishna won't disturb their faith. So there is another example that when Krishna was shot by this Jara, this hunter, Then the Devatas came and they prayed to Krishna. Brahma and Shiva, they came and they prayed to Krishna, my Lord, it's time for you to go. Your purpose is served. All the evil elements are killed. The dharma is established again. Our Mother Earth is again fully purified. And if you like, you may depart now. Then Krishna sat on the chariot, and then Krishna left a material body behind. And then Krishna went back with on his chariot with Daruka, his charioteer, went back to Goloka Vrindavan. So we see that because others will come. And others did came, and they saw all the dead bodies of Yadus were there, and then they saw Krishna's body was also there, but Krishna actually left. And some say that Jagannath, they took the heart from the body that Krishna left behind, and then that's the thing that they transfer in Jagannath. I don't know the authenticity of that. That's why we don't quote it or we don't speak on it. But some say that. But the body was not spiritual. That that body, just like Mother Sita, when she was abducted by Ravana, what was touched by Ravana was a material body. Mother Sita immediately see Krishna is transcendental, and Krishna's activities are very, very difficult to comprehend or understand. We cannot understand Krishna and the Krishna's associates. Their activities we cannot understand by our eyes because we will be bewildered because Krishna is the greatest mystic. Even in India, in my childhood, I used to go to some of these magic shows, Jadugar, और कुछ लोग आते थे. Even they can cut somebody's limbs and then bring them back to life. Even they can do such magics. So what is it difficult for Krishna to do some magic? He is Yogeshwar. He is he is the source of all the magicians. So Krishna and the whole illusory energy is Krishna's magic. Seems so real. Very, very, very interesting concepts. So what was touched by Mother Sita, by Ravana, was just a Maya Sita. Just like we see Krishna was leaving Vrindavan and Krishna was going to Mathura, and Krishna just left for Mathura and nobody realized that Krishna never left Vrindavan. And Krishna entered into the heart of the gopis and all the Vrajvasis. And Krishna was still performing daily pastimes with them, and they were thinking it is just a dream. But everything in Vrindavan continued as it is. But it seemed like Krishna left. So if you just watch Krishna and Krishna is coming and Krishna left, nobody can make out that Krishna never left Vrindavan. So Krishna is the greatest magician. So Krishna can do whatever he likes. Krishna can expand into spiritual bodies. Krishna can expand into material bodies. And Krishna's associate can do the same. And when he danced with the gopis, he expanded into spiritual bodies. And when he left, he expanded and left a material body that looked just like Krishna. So that's why Krishna says that nobody can understand me. Whatever our understanding of Krishna is like not even scratching the surface. Whatever we have heard from our Acharyas and Goswamis and Srila Prabhupada, we have little understanding of Krishna. But we cannot understand Krishna. And because we cannot understand Krishna, so many people, they have so much misunderstanding about Krishna. But through Shastra, we can understand Krishna in an absolute way. Whatever little we can know is through Shastra only. So here it is said that Krishna's body is spiritual and he is without wings. So all this blood coming out, it's all his illusory energy and nothing else. So Krishna's form is spiritual. The Lord is not formless. He has a transcendental form different from the material forms in this world. Um, um, he has a transcendental form different from the material form in this world. His form looks like human. 2 hands, 2 legs, walks, eats, sleeps, prays, plays, rules, king, servant, everything like, just like the way we do marriage, children, friends, relatives, parents. So it seems anybody can be bewildered actually. So Krishna says, Manusintanu Mashrita. Muda, Krishna call people are foolish who think when I descend in a human-like form. They don't know the Mudas, they consider me as human. When I descend a human-like form, they don't know my true transcendental nature. And that's why Krishna says, Krishna can make anybody a fool. And Krishna's activities are such that anybody can become a fool actually. So he has a transcendental form different from the material form in this world. I mean, even Krishna's pure devotees like Narad Muni form is transcendental. We hear when Ravana cut him into two, nothing happened to Narad Muni. This is not a pure devotee. This is the Swayam Bhagwan. Whatever the qualities of transcendental body these pure devotees has, everything are coming from Krishna. When Krishna is in play, this is Krishna who is in play. So anybody can become bewildered. And same with the just like nobody can understand Krishna, likewise nobody can understand even Lord Ramchandra, and nobody can understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. None of the incarnation of the Lord people can understand. People misunderstand the Lord. Hiranyaksha thought, this boar, I can kill him. He's a big animal, but I am also the very powerful. And nobody can understand. Krishna says only by bhakti can people know me. He is not forced to accept a body according to the laws of nature, as we are. Complete whole. In conditioned life, the soul is different from the gross body and subtle body, like for us. But the Lord is Satchitananda Vigraha, the complete whole, with an eternal form of knowledge and bliss. His mind, body, and he himself are one. Krishna does not have a mind. Krishna does not have an intelligence. Krishna is a spiritual body. It is said when we go back to spiritual world, there is no mind, intelligence, or those things go with us. Just a spiritual body. Even there, no Paramatma is there. Just a spiritual, real us, true us, realized us, who participate in the eternal pastimes of the Lord, which is the truth. Um, this material world is compared to an illusion. Yesterday I was thinking, many times we hear this material world is temporary and this material world is illusory. So is this material world temporary or illusory? They're actually one and the same thing, whether it is whether we say temporary or illusory. And I was thinking, why something which is temporary illusory? Just a thought came. For example, you see there is a TV, and in TV you see a picture, and that picture stays for 3 minutes and looks like wow, so nice, glow, beautiful scenery, and then um, after 3 minutes disappears. So during that 3 minutes, it looks real. Real means eternal. Something real means something that stays forever. Something that is temporary is illusory. If a picture stays for 30 years also, or say the picture stays for 1 second and then goes away, then we see that actually there was no picture. It was just some flashlight. And it seems like, there is a garden and we are in this or 3D experience or whatever. And then it's gone. It just, um, likewise, anything that stays for some time and then goes away is not eternal. So I think how it is described that everything in this material world also it's temporary, but because it is not real, in that way it is illusory. Because identification with the temporary as the real thing is illusion. In conditional life, the soul is different from the gross body and the subtle body, but the Lord is Satchitananda Vigraha, complete whole with an eternal form of knowledge and bliss. His mind, body, and he himself are same. Krishna's body, Krishna's mind, everything is one. And this also we cannot understand. How is Krishna's body made up of Satchitananda? His Vigraha is Satchitananda. We cannot understand it. All we can understand is a vigraha which is made up of veins and blood and bones and bone marrow and pus and stool, and this is what we can relate. But how can something be a form made of Satchidananda? We cannot understand. Even Brahma we cannot understand. How can there be a form made of intelligence? So this spiritual subject matter is like inconceivable for us conditioned soul, because we are conditioned to this world. For us, this is the reality. And anything beyond that is like alien for us, because we are conditioned to this reality. But Krishna is Satchidananda, no material form. When scripture describes the Lord as formless, it means that his transcendental body is not like material form. Kaya means actually material body. Our body is called Kaya. So Krishna is Akaya, um, means he does not have a form like us. That's why Krishna says, fools think when I descend a human-like form. So they are bewildered by seeing Krishna's human-like form. Is Krishna a human? Krishna is not a human. Does Krishna has a human-like form? Yes. But when people consider him as a human, that is what Krishna calls as foolish. Like Jesus also says, man is made in the image of God. He is devoid of a form that we can conceive of. Then he is omnipotent, Shukram, and omniscient, Kavi. Omnipotent with each and every part of his body, the Lord can do the work of the other senses. He can walk with his hands, accept things with his legs, see with his hands and feet, eat with his eyes, etc. Being omnipotent and omniscient, he can transform matter into spirit and spirit into matter as he desires. So omnipotent means he can do anything. Omnipotent means there is nothing that he cannot do. Um, um, he can make anything into anything. Omnipotent. If Krishna was not omnipotent, how could he create um, um, fire from air? How could he create air from space? How could he create space from shabda, sound? How, this thing we cannot understand. How could he create water from fire? So Krishna is omnipotent. When we hear about creation, it's like, oh, we cannot conceive it. Yeah, because he is omnipotent. And Prabhupada speaks about omnipotent. Because he is omnipotent, he can transform matter into spirit and spirit into matter. How is that possible? Matter into spirit we can understand. Anything that is used in Krishna's service becomes spiritualized. The body of a pure devotee is spiritual. So matter is converted to spirit. The deity form of the Lord is spiritual. It's Sakshat Krishna. Gopi Jana Vallabh is Sakshat Krishna. Although he is made up of matter, originally when he was carved, it was a marble. It was a stone. But now he is not stone, he is Krishna who is standing there. So the matter is converted into spirit. Anything we use in Krishna's service, that becomes spiritualized, whether it is a table, whether it is a laptop, when it is used only to serve Krishna, it becomes spiritualized. So we understand how to convert matter into spirit. But how do we understand how spirit converts into matter? So Prabhupada also says that if a deity form of the Lord is spiritual, Krishna is present there. But if Krishna's service is neglected, then Krishna can leave because nobody to serve him. Why Krishna comes? Krishna comes because he comes to accept the love of his devotees. Why Krishna comes? Do you want to stay in a place where none of your loved one lives? You don't want to stay. Whenever Krishna comes with his own entourage. Srimati Radharani, Yamuna, Govardhan, Nand Baba, Yashoda Maya, Subal, Madhu Mangal, Sri Damastoka, Krishna, Arjun, Yatrak, Patrak, Raktak, Patrak. Whenever Krishna comes this entourage who loves Krishna. Whether in Lord Ram pastime, whether in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu come with all his associates. They don't want to come among all people who hate him. They don't want to stay there. And why Gopijana Vallabha comes is the Antaraj is the devotees. When we sing Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Braja Jana Ranjana means he gave pleasure to all the Brajavasis. So how we should see Gopijana Vallabha and our temple is everybody who is serving Gopijana Vallabha are Brajavasis. And Krishna is very dear to them and they are very dear to Krishna. Why Krishna is staying there is because devotees have a loving heart to serve him. When we were dressing the Lord for today morning for his Brahmotsa, for his birthday, this is the day he came. So there were so many sincere servants of Gopijana Vallabha who were there with their heart and they want to decorate him. And this is why he comes. He comes to accept the love from his dear devotees. That's why. What is keeping him here is the loving reciprocation from devotees. Now, imagine all these Rajavasis, Prabhupada says, all my temples are Vrindavan. So, they are all Rajavasis because their heart resides in Radha Gopijana Vallabha Mandir. And that's how all are Vrajavasis. And Krishna is described as Vrajajana Ranjana. One day I was meditating. Vrajajana Ranjana means he is very dear to all the Vrajavasis. Vrajajana Ranjana. So Gopi, like many devotees, when their job transfers, they say, we don't want to go because Gopijana Vallabha will not be there. How can we leave Gopijana Vallabha? So this is Vrajajana Ranjana. Krishna is very dear, and because of this only Krishna is staying there. And His Holiness Shivram Maharaj says, but if the service to Krishna is neglected, he's not getting dressed in the morning, he's not getting dressed in the evening, bhoga sometime when there is time and whatever they want to eat, they cook for themselves and they offer it to Gopijana Vallabha, and the arati sometime happens, sometime doesn't happen. So when the deities become burdened, when it is not done with love, when it is done just for the sake of doing, then he leaves. He has a free will. He is staying because devotees want to serve him, and when somebody loves him, he comes. Prabhupada says, what is the mercy of Krishna? Krishna has assumed the form of a matter because we cannot see him spiritually. We don't have the eyes. Arjuna did not have the eyes to see the spiritual Krishna, to see the universal form of Krishna. So we don't have the eyes. So Krishna is very merciful. He took the form of a matter and he descends in that form. Krishna is omnipotent. He descends in that form so that he can accept service from us. And then Prabhupada says, when we are loving him and we are serving him and he is accepting service from us, then there is no difference between when you are personally, Krishna is there, or Krishna is there in his deity form. Prabhupada says, just like the way Krishna personally will respond, same experience you will get when Krishna deity form is there. There is no difference. And if you don't have love for whom you are worshipping, then it is Murti Puja only. Then you are just worshipping idols and statues. What invites Krishna is the bhakti. Krishna says, I don't need food. Krishna says, I need bhakti in the food. I need bhakti in the dressing and bathing. I need bhakti in the arati. I need bhakti in the kirtan. Only bhakti can touch Krishna. Karma and jnana is all can never touch Krishna. They're all materialistic activities. We will see that in the next verse. So Krishna is, that's how the spirit can turn into matter. Another way we can say the spirit turns into matter is if a devotee offends. The devotee is spiritualized by the holy name, um, um, by devotional service, by bhakti. But when the mind is spiritualized by bhakti rasa, but when there are some offenses, then the mind becomes materialized. Mind again becomes subtle matter. then the mind is again attracted to unwanted habits, thoughts. Again, spiritual mind, which was absorbed in Krishna, has now become materialistic. So Krishna is omnipotent, Krishna's bhakti is omnipotent. Matter can turn into spirit and spirit can turn into matter. We see the example of Rup Kaviraj at the stage of Bhava, offended Krishna Priya Thakurani, and then became a ghost in the next life because of his offense. And he degraded in his spiritual life, fell down from the stage of Bhava. And so he can transform matter into spirit and spirit into matter. So this is very nice. As he desires. So if we want to protect ourselves, then bhakti. Um, Krishna. The Lord's original form is that of Shri Krishna, who expands into unlimited forms like Baladev, Ram, Narsimha, Varaha, all of which are the same. They're all expanded from Krishna, and Shri Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Archa Vigraha of the deity seen in temple is also an expanded form of the omnipotent Lord. So this is omnipotent means, Balaram, Ram, Narsimha, Varaha are all omnipotent. Every expansion of Krishna is complete and omnipotent. And just as the deity form of Krishna is complete and omnipotent, Krishna can do anything. If we think Krishna cannot take the form of a stone, then there is something that Krishna cannot do. If we think that this prasad is material food, and how can this become spiritualized, then there is something that Krishna cannot do. Again, it's faith. Just like we hear the story of the cobbler and Brahmana, and the Narayan is passing an elephant through an eye of a needle. The Brahmana is saying, how is that possible? Likewise, we should not be like Brahmanas. Brahmana means, how can this food, what happens if we offer? Ting, 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 put some tulsi, ting, 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 yeah, offered, eat it, so that there is no guilt feeling. But there may not be a feeling that Krishna has actually accepted it, and this is Krishna Prasad. That feeling may not be there. Um, mm. So, what makes cobbler qualified than Brahmana is faith. Cobbler said, yes, the Lord is omnipotent. If the Lord is omnipotent, he can do anything. So he can pass an elephant through an eye of a needle. He can do it. Likewise, if the Lord is omnipotent, he can do anything. So he can spiritualize this food. He can take the form of this stone or metal. And he is direct Krishna and direct Srimati Radharani. So this is all the example of omnipotency, and descends at the request of the acharyas. He can do anything. He can reciprocate with us in the material world, in the hellish world, anywhere. He can do anything. This is about the deity, works exactly as the Lord by his omnipotence, approachable by worship, accept the service of devotees by his omnipotent energy. This is the only reason Krishna is staying with us, to accept the service of a devotee. We hold the responsibility to keep Gopijana Vallabha there. Actually, Krishna is attracted by love. Somebody can take Gopijana Vallabha away also. If somebody has that much amount of love for Gopijana Vallabha, we see that happening in Vrindavan. There is Banke Bihari. And one devotee came with lot of love and his heart was Banke Bihari. He said, Banke Bihari, आपको मेरे साथ चलना होगा. Banke Bihari said, चलो. Banke Bihari left. So only thing that keeps, if you want Gopijana Vallabh to stay, if you want your home deities to stay, then by love we can keep him. Krishna is not bound to stay. Krishna is bound by love. approachable by worship, accept the service of a devotee by his omnipotent energy. Seen as material by the imperfect eyes of foolish people, ignorant of scriptures. Those who don't know Shastra, those who are foolish, foolish means those who understand Krishna by material eyes. Seen as material by the imperfect eyes of foolish people. If Krishna is seen, if the deity is seen, if the food is seen by the faithless, imperfect eyes of foolish, materialistic, ignorant people, then everything is material. And they are called Kanishta Adhikaris. Kanishta Adhikari faith is very meager. Uttama Adhikari faith is very high. Everything is based on Shraddha Anusari, based on faith. Foolish people do not know about the omnipotence of Krishna and deride him when he descended like a human being into this world. Krishna regrets their fallen condition. I mean, Krishna came and some people are like, criticizing him, and they are eternally his part and parcel, and they're like Shishupal, and they're criticizing him. So Krishna regrets, still Krishna delivers them, because just like a mother never rejects a child, no matter what the child's do because of love. Likewise, we are all part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna never rejects us, even if we inappropriately deal with him. And actually, one reason Krishna exists is Krishna exists to forgive us. Krishna is eternal for eternally forgiving. Otherwise, we don't know what will happen to us if Krishna was not forgiven. How many mistakes? Like sometimes devotee says, I'm like a walking aparad, walking offense, because every step I commit offenses. But why is Krishna tolerating? See, Krishna still loves us. How for Krishna? Krishna never find fault in us. And it is said that for a conditioned soul, it is said to err is human. We make mistakes because we are not perfect souls. But Krishna regrets their fallen condition, which is due to their forgetfulness of relationship with Krishna. But still, Krishna's mercy is that Krishna engages us in his service. That is Krishna's mercy. Even though we are highly unqualified people who are born to offend devotees and who are born to make mistakes and who are born with all the disqualifications. But Krishna still gives us more and more opportunity. Krishna still shows his love. Imagine, if you see this material world, this is one of the quality of Krishna. If you see in this material world, you offend somebody, they actually don't talk to us. Even if they forgive us, they said you beg forgiveness also, they still try to avoid us. You can see it in their eyes by their bodily action. It is very difficult if you offend somebody that they have no harsh feeling for us. But that is not the case with Krishna. When you offend Krishna, you will see Krishna with his full smile. Krishna will accept you and allow him to serve you with love, and Krishna will reciprocate. Only Krishna can do that actually. All his pure devotees who are Haritva, they are the same qualities of Krishna. Krishna, Krishna does not manifest himself in full to the mental speculators. He can be appreciated only in proportion to persons surrender unto him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not reveal his divinity to anyone and everyone. Krishna did not reveal his divinity to anyone and everyone. Only those who surrendered could understand Krishna. Arjuna could understand Krishna. Only those who surrendered can. Uh, Sarvabhaumacharya could not understand Krishna, but when he surrendered, he could. Anybody who surrenders and wanted to serve Lord Chaitanya, they could understand Lord Chaitanya. Otherwise, um, um, many people cannot. It's like, um, mm, um, like there is a saying, who comes first, chicken or egg? Likewise, to understand Krishna, you don't surrender, Krishna doesn't reveal to you. So you think I will accept Krishna if Krishna reveals, then I will accept. Krishna says no, I will reveal when you surrender. Then we say no, first you reveal, then I will accept. Krishna said no, first you surrender, then I will reveal myself to you. So it's like that. But ultimately, devotee has to take the first step and surrender. That's why it is said it begins with Shraddha, and then Krishna reveals gradually. So he maintains, sanctions, and reciprocates. He is the fulfiller of desires. Yathat Yathatyato Rathan. He maintains, sanctions, and reciprocates. Maintainer. The Lord has been supplying food to the jivas from time immemorial. So how is Krishna maintainer? Krishna is maintainer in all respects. These material bodies, Krishna has made perfect arrangement of the Vayu, of Agni, of the sun, of the temperature, of the food, of a place. Krishna has made, whether it is air to breathe or whatever it is required. Krishna has, in all respects, if we are able to maintain one more moment, because Krishna is maintaining us. If Krishna withdraw his energies, how can we be maintained? Cannot live a second without the maintenance provided by Krishna's arrangement. Yes, we can say Vayu Devi is there, Agni Devi is there, but then who created them? Correct, right? They came from the universal form. Everything is Krishna expansion, and so ultimately, Krishna is maintaining us. The Lord has been supplying goods to the jivas from time immemorial. And not just we are surviving because of Krishna has put us in this. And why Krishna has put us in this situation, in these bodies, and in this, He is maintaining us so that one day we can use our free will and turn towards Him. So He can immediately accept us. And when we start rendering service to Him, then He gives us the intelligence. Krishna loves us. And He is also fulfilling our desires. Whatever, the Lord has been supplying goods to the jiva since time immemorial. So Krishna is a maintainer. Eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. That one maintains all. Eko bahunam. That one person, bahunam, anek. One person maintains everybody. That ek maintains bahuna. Eko bahuna yo vidadati kama. Everyone's calm, everyone's desire, everyone's maintenance. Bahuna is maintained at Eko, who is Nitya Nityanam, who is among all the eternal, he is supreme eternal. Chaitana's Chaitananam, among all those who are conscious. His supreme consciousness or whatever consciousness we have is coming from him. Chaitana's Chaitanam. Eko bahunam yovidhati kaman, that one. And Prabhupada says that's very clear that we are not God. If we are God, then Nitya Nityanam, Chaitana's Chaitananam, Eko bahunam yovidhati kaman makes absolutely no sense. How can there be one who maintains all when we are God? So, I mean, people can think whatever they like, but Prabhupada used to quote it, that Eko Bahuna. Then qualification and sanction. Good qualifications and desires in themselves are not sufficient for one to receive awards. It must be sanctioned by a supreme authority. The Lord mercifully awards enjoyment to the jivas in proportion to their qualification. Example, if a man wants to be a high court judge, he must acquire not only the necessary qualification, but also the consent of the authority who can award the title of high court judge. If you want to become a high court judge, just completing your education does not make you judge, but somebody has to appoint you and put you in that position. And now you are a high court judge. So, um, um, just necessary qualification is not everything, but sanction of authority is required. Likewise, good qualification and desires in themselves are not sufficient for one to receive awards. It must be sanctioned by a superior authority. The Lord mercifully award enjoyment to the jivas in proportion to their qualification. What it basically means is, whatever desire we have, whatever any desire we have, Krishna has to sanction it. Just because you have done the education or whatever qualification you have, that also by Krishna's mercy only we are able to do what we are able to do. But for the next thing that we want to do, Lord has to sanction. And so he is the maintainer, he sanctions and reciprocates. So this is about sanction and the difference between qualification and sanction. Just because we are qualified for a particular job does not mean we will get a job. But we were interviewed and we have to be selected, and now we can get the benefit of a job. Just because I'm educated does not guarantee a job. Likewise, anything that we want to happen, Krishna has to sanction. Krishna maintains, Krishna sanctions. Krishna is, I mean, anything Krishna. Unworthy aspiration. What is not a good aspiration? Living beings influenced by the Maya ask the Lord for many material things due to splayed intelligence. They ask Krishna for many material things. Captivated by the temporary beauties of Maya, they forget the real aim of life, going back to Godhead. What is a worthy aspiration? Worthy aspiration is to serve Krishna. That's who we really are. We all belong to Goloka Dham, Vrindavan Dham. We all have an eternal relationship with Krishna. We all are meant to serve Krishna in that particular relationship. But captivated by the illusory energy, we can ask Lord for many material things and prolong our life in this material world. So that is unworthy aspiration. Today we were discussing about Gajendra in the evening, and we were discussing that Gajendra did not ask for material relief, but Gajendra asked for, my Lord, I don't want any other birth. I want to serve you eternally. So this is like good example of unworthy aspiration, worthy aspiration. Captivated by temporary beauties of Maya. So all the beauties of Maya can be in form of wealth or fame or beauty. It can be in any form. Captivated by the temporary beauties of Maya, the conditioned soul forget the real aim of life, going back to Godhead. Because if we become captivated by the temporary beauties of Maya, thinking this will be so nice, this will make me so much happy, but ultimately it brings us anxiety, brings us suffering, brings us attachment, which breaks and aborts further suffering, brings us so much more that comes with it. And captivated by those, the living entity forgets the real aim of life, of what one is. But naturally, Maya is very powerful, and that's why we should not have unworthy aspiration. Spiritual intelligence is one, but mundane intelligence is diverse. Krishna says this. व्यवसायत्मिका बुद्धि एक यहा गुरु नंदना बहुशाखा अनंतचा buddhaya vyavasayina. Krishna says those who are materially motivated, their their intelligence is many branched. They have many desires. They are attracted to many things. This is us. We are attracted to many things. Why? Because we are not attracted to that one. When we are not attracted to that one, then our intelligence becomes many branched. Spiritual intelligence is one. We are attracted to one, and we need that one. That is what we should aspire for. Not easy, and that's why we should follow the rules and regulations of bhakti sincerely. Then what is worthy aspiration? The jiva can come to know his constitutional position. The jiva who comes to know his constitutional position asks to be accepted into the Lord's association to lovingly serve him. This is worthy aspiration. That when a living entity realizes um, his true nature, his constitutional position of being a servant eternally, of having a relationship with Krishna, our eternal relationship of loving service with Krishna. When a jiva comes to know this, He asked to be accepted into the Lord's association to lovingly serve him. We see our founder Acharya Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Wrote a poem while he was traveling to Jaladut, and Prabhupada said in the poem, he says, "Oh my dear Lord, oh my dear friend Krishna, today the remembrance for you came to me in a very nice way by your mercy. If given a chance to join you back in that pastures of Vrindavan, where I am rolling in the early morning, where I am um, running in the pastures in Vrindavan in the early morning. If a chance is given to me once again to join you in that loving service, I will certainly accept it." Prabhupada says, "This remembrance of you, oh my dear friend Krishna, this remembrance of you came to me today in a very nice way. Given an opportunity to join back in your abode, pastures of Vrindavan, I will certainly accept it." So this is Prabhupada showed by his own example through his poem. Prabhupada says, what is a worthy aspiration and what is an unworthy aspiration? And then reciprocation. So that is that everything is under sanction. Krishna, basically the idea is, first thing is Krishna is maintainer, second thing is sanction. Just if we are qualified does not mean that we can get whatever we want. For us to get anything, Krishna sanction is required, but we must aspire for it, and then Krishna may or may not sanction. Then Prabhupada explained what is an unworthy desire, what is an worthy desire. If you have unworthy desire, then Krishna will sanction that. But with that comes moha, illusion. With that comes anxiety. With that comes lamentation. And with that comes attachment and suffering, happiness and suffering, happiness and sadness. So if you have unworthy aspiration, that's what we get. And worthy aspiration, then you get um, spiritual pleasure, real happiness, which is eternal by nature, which is true nature of the soul. So Krishna will sanction. What do you want from him? Then, so he is a maintainer. He is the one who sanctions everything, material or spiritual, and reciprocation. The Lord is so kind that he allows the forgetful jiva to continue in material life. If a jiva wants to go to hell, the Lord allows it without interference. And if the jiva wants to go back to God, the Lord helps that too. So Lord will reciprocate with what you aspire. If you want to go away from him, Krishna will not force you. If you want to stop serving Radha Gopijana Vallabha, he is not going to force you. All right. Um, but then we may have a intelligent desire, a worthy aspiration, a worthy desire. Then everything will be all right. Krishna will reciprocate with you. Actually, the only thing we should want from Krishna is um, we want to be an instrument of Krishna's desire. Actually, that is the best desire, is to become an instrument of Krishna's desire. Most of the time, we force Krishna in our desire. Anyways, it is said that we cannot force Krishna anyhow. Krishna is abhigyaswara. Krishna will do what he likes anyhow. But then we have a choice, na? So we should use our choice. Our goal should be that Krishna, make me an instrument of your desire. What you want me to, how you want to engage me, you engage me in that way. I want, like Prabhupada used to say, I want to become a puppet in your hand. Nachao, nachao, nachao re mate. You can make me a success, you can make me a failure. That was the Prabhupada's genuine prayer. And Prabhupada says, Krishna, I want to become a puppet in your hand, and you can do with me as you like. Make me an instrument of your desire. But keep me engaged in your loving service eternally. I don't want to serve this material world. I want to serve you eternally. However and whatever you want to do with me, you can, as long as you keep me engaged in your loving service, whatever the situation be. So a devotee should not have independent desire from Krishna. Rather, he should aspire to be an instrument of Krishna's desire. But he should always desire Krishna's service. And whichever way we want to serve Krishna, that is up to Krishna. Whether as a king, whether as a servant, whether as a professional, whether as a sannyasi, whether as a vanaprasthi, how you want me to serve, that is up to you. You can use me in any way you like, but please keep me engaged in your loving service. And then Krishna will reciprocate. It's a worthy aspiration. You will have a worthy reciprocation. And that is very nice. And then he is the greatest of all. Paribuhu. No one is greater than or equal to the Lord. Obviously. Nobody can become equal to greater than Krishna. Other living beings are described as beggars. What is your profession, Prabhu? Do you work outside? Yes, I work outside. Oh, what is your title? Oh, my title, Bhikhari hu main. That is our true title. We are beggars. Other living beings are described as beggars who ask goods from him, who supplies the things they desire. We have always been a beggar. No matter what we become, we are always a beggar because we desired something and Krishna sanctioned it and gave it to us. Whatever we want is based on what we are, is based on our desire, but just desire was not sufficient. Krishna sanctioned it, but that does not change our profession of a beggar. Some people consciously know that Krishna is the sanctioner and I'm a beggar. Some don't know and they think that they have attained their success or their fortune by their effort, and those people Krishna call as mudas. Mudas. Ahankara vimudatma kartahamiti manyate. A living entity, a foolish man thinks he is the doer of his activity, which are actually carried out by Krishna through the modes of material nature. Ahankara vimudatma kartamiti man. Prakriti kriyamanani gunaye karmani sarvasha. Everything is done by guna. Gunaye. So, by profession, we are beggars. Whatever, if we want anything or whatever we have attained anything, is based on our desire and Krishna's sanction. And now we want to get back to realize our true position, get back to our original position as beggars. And what we beg Krishna is service, devotional service. We don't even necessarily need to beg Krishna to go back to Godhead. We want to beg Krishna, um, engage me in your loving devotional service. Time is less, death is near. One thing is for sure. I'm sure most of us in the call are 40s or approaching 40s, some maybe elder also, but very few. Most of us are maybe above 40s. But no matter what our age is, our time in this world is short and death is close. And the most relevant thing to do in our situations is to engage in serving Krishna, because that will be to our eternal benefit, is how much time I can engage in serving Krishna. Because everything else that I do, which is not serving Krishna, is a waste of time. The time is lost. The time lost. The time will be lost anyways. And the last moment will come anyhow. It is inevitable. Time will not stop. But we can intelligently use our time. Begging. If the jivas were equal to the Lord and are also omnipotent and omniscient, then they need not beg from him, even for so-called liberation. If jivas are equal to the Lord, then we won't be described in the scriptures as beggars. Beggars means He is the one who sanctions. He is the one who supplies. So he is supreme and we are under his control. Real liberation means going back to Godhead, going to Dham, Vrindavan Dham, Goloka Dham. That is real liberation. Begging for sense gratification has to continue eternally unless the beggar comes to his spiritual senses and realizes his constitutional position. If you want to beg for material things, keep on begging for eternity. If you want to beg for material things, keep on begging for eternity without satisfaction. You will not be satisfied. Rather, you will have lamentation, anxiety, suffering will come, sadness will come. No real pleasure will be there. The pleasure is only mental or anticipation. No true pleasure will be there. True pleasure is there only in bhakti. So those who, and then whatever you get will be taken away from you to get a new desire and a new desire and a new desire. So keep on begging for eternity. So real liberation is going back home, back to Godhead. He is self-sufficient, independent. Swayambhu. Swayambhu means उनको कुछ चाहिए नहीं, वो किसी पे निर्भर नहीं करते. He is self-sufficient and independent. Krishna manifested many superhuman activities like lifting Govardhan hill, killing demons like Agha, Baka, Sakata, but he didn't acquire his powers through any extraneous endeavor. He is self-sufficient, independent. हम लोगों को, if we want to get some power, like Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, they have to perform austerities or need to get some blessings to get some powers. Either you get power by blessings or you get power. I mean, blessings. Some people get powers by blessings unsought after. Some people get power by blessings from, like, blessings unsought after is Hanuman. He's a devotee of the Lord. So the sages blessed him and he got so many superhuman powers. Um, and demons, they get by their own tapasya because no saint want to bless them, but saint bless them by force, like Brahma and Shiva. They bless them by force, by obligation. But devotees, they are blessed. So whatever superhuman powers we need, it needs to be given to us somehow or other. But there, but the Lord did not acquire his power through any extraneous endeavor. The Lord is few days old and he killed Putna and then he killed Trinavarta. So Lord is, independent. Source is a source. Self-sufficient, doesn't depend on anybody. He is beyond reproach, means everything he does is perfect. Krishna danced with the gopis without social restrictions and without reproach. Um, um, some foolish people can condemn, but actually Krishna, everything that Krishna does is perfect. And the most relishable pastimes of Krishna is his Ras Leela, Krishna Prabhupada says. So Krishna danced with gopis and nobody find fault in him. Those who are intelligent people or those who are um, uh, not the foolish people, but those who understand. So Krishna is without reproach. Whatever he does. The gopis approach Krishna as a paramar, but their pure spiritual relationship was worshipped even by Lord Chaitanya, a strict sannyasi. Lord Chaitanya was a very strict sannyasi. Very strict sannyasi. He would not even hear the song sung by a woman. Very strict sannyasi, Lord Chaitanya. Nobody would come close to him even to offer him obeisances. Very strict sannyasi. And anybody in his associates, if they even have a thought, Mahaprabhu will reject them. Very strict sannyasi. And he would discuss Krishna's parakiya bhav, paramour relationship with the gopis. That shows that everything about Krishna is completely pure. Um, their pure spiritual relationship was worshipped even by Lord Chaitanya. Uh, uh, Brajavadhu, it is described the Brajavadhu's worship. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described the worship of gopis is the highest. Among all the devotees, they have the highest devotion. So Krishna is beyond reproach. Um, Everything about Krishna is beyond reproach means beyond fault, uh, pure. He is supremely pure. Shuddham, apapavidham. Shuddham, he is antiseptic. Shuddham means not only he is pure, anybody that comes in contact with him becomes pure. And holy name is described as the Mahaushadhi, the greatest medicine. So he is antiseptic because even an impure thing can become purified just by touching him. Whether it is Shishupal, whether it is Kamsa, everybody becomes purified by remembering him in any way. They become purified. Apapavidham is prophylactic. It has two meanings. Apapavidham means purifying. His pure association is so powerful that although a devotee may be sudurachar, like maybe some of us, sudurachar, not well behaved in the beginning, one can be purified in Lord's association. Apiche sudurachara bhajante mam ananyabhak sadhu eva samantavya vyavasat vyavasito hisam. Even if one activities are sudurachar, abominable activities, if they come in contact with Krishna, they can be purified. So Krishna is apapavidha. His pure association is so purifying. Anybody comes in touch with him, even if his activities are abominable, he can become purified. That is a power. Then uncontaminated, sin cannot touch the Lord. Even if his actions appear to be sinful, they are all good because he is pure in all circumstances. Whether he's dancing in a parakiyaras or whether he is killing Karna, who was trying to just lift the chariot wheel in a battlefield, and Krishna told Arjuna, shoot. Arjuna said, all right, shoot him. So sin cannot touch the Lord. Everything Krishna is beyond reproach. Everything Krishna does is perfect. Dharma to sakshat bhagavat pranita. Whatever Krishna does is dharma. Example, he is like a sun who extracts the moisture from untouchable places, yet remains pure by virtue of his sterilizing powers. If the material sun is so powerful, then how powerful is the purifying potency of the all-merciful Lord? Example is given, a filthy substance like a stool. When the stool is passed in, or people would, in Vedic culture, they would go out. There was no shauchalaya in the homes for the sake of purity. Now it's different case. So they would go into the field and they would pass the stool, and there is no sanitation required. No bad smell would come in few minutes. The bad smell may be there, but in few minutes the sun will purify it. And the sun, by touching by the sun rays, by coming in contact with the stool, does not become contaminated. The sun remains always pure, and the most impure things that comes in contact with the sun gets dried out, and wind and sun, they purify, and now there is no smell in it. So when the sun and the air can purify, then which is a material element, but to speak about Krishna. So anything that comes in contact with Krishna, Sudura, abominable people also, when they come in contact with Krishna, Krishna is not touched by their sinful activities and they become pure. Krishna remains eternally pure. Sterilizing effect of Krishna, antiseptic effect of Krishna. So that's all we have for today. We discussed only one verse because there were so many qualities of Krishna that we discussed. Are there any discussion points now at this point of time? Anyone has any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dhanyavad.
Um, Thank you for explaining so nicely, Prabhuji. No question, but thank you for beautifully explaining these qualities of Krishna.
Welcome, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, along with Prabhuji, thank you for all the nectar. It's just wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nandulal Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanyavad Pranam. Prabhuji, your lecture was so powerful. I have learned so much today. And I'm getting closer and closer to Krishna. Keep on teaching us what you're teaching me every day.
Well, I am going every day away from Krishna. You are getting closer to Krishna, but by your mercy, I'll come closer. But every day is one step away for me.
Because of your lecture, I'm getting closer and closer.
That I don't know how that happens. But anyways, thank you for
Prabhuji.
encouragement.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right, I think there are no questions. So we'll end here. Thank you very much. If I spoke anything wrong, inappropriate, please forgive me as your humble servant. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha ananta koti vaishnavrinda ki jai. Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Thank you very
Pranam.
much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you,
Jai
Atul.
Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.